So, I don't like the MCU Spider-Man. Before you dislike, actually hear me out, because I'm not just hating just hate. These are literally just my opinions, and I just want to express them. So first off, I wanted to talk about Uncle Ben. He is the most important part of Spider-Man's character, and I really hate how he is in the MCU. In fact, he probably doesn't even exist in the MCU. He has a briefcase, and it gets lost in an explosion or something like that. Usually when I bring up this subject, a lot of people would just say, well, Iron Man's the new Uncle Ben. No, he shouldn't be. I'm not saying Iron Man shouldn't be in Spider-Man's life at all. Iron Man is a mentor, but he shouldn't be nowhere near as important as Uncle Ben was to him. Uncle Ben taught him to learn responsibility. His careless actions got him killed in the first place. Iron Man is teaching him to be a better kid, to be a better superhero. Uncle Ben was far more important. He became Spider-Man because of Uncle Ben, but in these movies, he is nowhere even mentioned. Next, I wanted to talk about Spider-Man's costume. In Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Man, there was two montages of him creating the iconic Spider-Man costume. They both had these prototype costumes that the new one does have, but they ended up creating these actual Spider-Man suit. They created the full one, the awesome one, but the new one never did because he was introduced to Iron Man, and Iron Man literally just gave him the suit. He did have his two prototype versions, but he didn't actually create the full Spider-Man costume. But the other two did, and it showed how smart Peter Parker was that he created his own Spider-Man costume. But this new one doesn't do that. Alright, next we have the villains. Green Goblin is a great Spider-Man villain. They both know each other personally, and his best friend is related to him. They both know their identities. It's really intense. It's just a great villain overall. And then you have someone like Mysterio, who didn't care for Spider-Man in the first place. He hated Iron Man. He could care less about Spider-Man. Spider-Man was just someone who got in his way, so he started to hate Spider-Man. It was mainly Iron Man. Not to mention, Peter Parker is apparently stupid enough to give Iron Man's glasses to someone he just met 2 days ago. What? Final reason I have is Mary Jane. So in Homecoming, it was obvious that Mary Jane had a crush on Peter Parker and tried to hide it by being kind of mean to him. And he never really noticed, and he never actually had a crush on her. And somehow in this movie, in the beginning, he has a whole plan to take her on a vacation or whatever and get with her. Even though he didn't even have a crush on her in the last movie, they really rushed it and it was really awful. Plus, I'm not a big fan of the actor for her. I don't know why, it's not Mary Jane, if that makes any sense. But yeah, it just makes no sense that automatically in this movie, he magically has a crush on her when he didn't even consider it in the last movie. It just, what? Also, after Endgame, you would think that maybe some of his friends were snapped away or something, or they got affected by the snap or whatever. Like, they all came back from the snap, of course, but like, no one talked about it, no one mentioned it or anything like that. I feel like it could have been a little more emotional, and it could have been better, but no, they didn't do that. So originally, I was gonna talk about the Daredevil TV show, but I don't remember 90% of the stuff from the show. Plus, I never even finished it. I'm still on season 2, for Christ's sake.